Now we're going to take the time to go back and review the last couple of days in class. We got to review arithmetic sequences and graphing inequalities. We have a quiz in our next class. So, to start with, we'll look at arithmetic sequences. So I want to determine if they're arithmetic, write the formula, and find the next three terms. Alright, so I'm going to first look at, let's change my color, 15 to 12. To go to 15 to 12, I subtract 3. 12 to 9, I subtract 3. 9 to 6, I subtract 3. So this is arithmetic, and my common difference is negative 3. So I'm going to use that in my first term 15 to write my equation. So remember, my formula is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, where a sub n is a term I'm looking for, a sub 1 is my first term, n is the same whatever term that is, and d is a common difference. So I'm going to say a sub n equals 15, my first term, plus n minus 1 times my common difference, negative 3. I'm going to distribute my negative 3, so I get a sub n equals 15 minus 3n plus 3. I can combine 15 and 3, so I get a sub n equals negative 3n plus 18. So there's my equation, and now I want to find the next three terms. So I went from 15, 12, 9, 6, so 6 minus 3 is 3, 3 minus 3 is 0, 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So now I'm going to do the same thing for number 2. To go from 1 to 4, I add 3. To go from 4 to 9, I add 5. Because those are different, I already know that this is not arithmetic. And the last one, to go from 33 to 29, I subtract 4. 29 to 25, subtract 4. 25 to 21, subtract 4. And 21 to 17, subtract 4. Make sure you test all of your terms because it may change right at the end. But this one doesn't, so it is arithmetic, and my common difference is negative 4. So now I'm going to plug into my formula to write my explicit equation. So I've got a sub n equals, my first term was 33 plus n minus 1. My common difference is negative 4. Got to distribute my negative 4, so I get a sub n equals 33 minus 4n plus 4. Combine my like terms, and I get a sub n equals negative 4n plus 37. Got to find the next three terms, so I went from 21 to 17. 17 minus 4 is 13. 13 minus 4 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. Now I want to write the formula given this particular information. So for number 1, I'm given that a sub 12 is 15 and d equals 3. In order to fill in a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d, my formula, I have to know a sub 1. So I'm going to use what I'm given to find a sub 1. So I'm going to plug in a sub 12, which I know is 15, and then I'm looking for a sub 1. I know that that is the 12th term minus 1 times my common difference d. 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33. So now to get a sub 1 by itself, I'm going to subtract 33. So then I get a sub 1 equals negative 18. So now I'm going to come back and plug in everything else. So I have a sub n equals that negative 18 plus n minus 1 times my common difference, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So a sub n equals negative 18 plus 3n minus 3. Put my 3 in first. Negative 18 minus 3 is negative 21. For number 2, it's a little different. I'm given the 15th term and the 30th term. So now I've got to find a sub 1 and my common difference. So to find the common difference, I'm going to subtract my two terms and divide by however many terms are between. So I'm going to do 75 minus 30 divided by 15, because I went from the 15th term to the 30th term. So that's 15 terms between. 75 minus 30 is 45. 45 divided by 15 is 3. So that's my common difference. Now I'm going to find a sub 1 the same way that we found it in number 1. So I'm going to use a sub 15. So I'm going to say 30 equals a sub 1 plus 15 minus 1 times 3. So to keep simplifying, 30 equals a sub 1. 15 minus 1 is 14. 14 times 3 is 42. To get a sub 1 by itself, I'm going to subtract 42. 30 minus 42 is negative 12. So my first term is 12. That's what I'm going to plug in. And my common difference is 3. So that's what I'm going to plug in. So we've got a sub n equals negative 12 plus n minus 1 times my common difference, 3. So that's negative 12. Distribute my 3, so I get plus 3n minus 3. So then my equation, I put my 3 in first. Negative 12 minus 3 is negative 15. So now you get a word problem. Helen has $525 in a savings account. After 1 month, she has $580 in the account. The next month, she has $635, and after the third month is $690. I want to write a function to represent the arithmetic sequence. Then find the amount of money she will have after 10 months. So I'm going to look at my terms. So I've got 525, 580, 635, and 690. So from the first to the second month, we add 55. And then to the next month, we add 55. And then to the next month, 55. So I've got a common difference of $55 a month. So I'm just going to write my equation. So we've got, change colors, my first term, so we'll say a sub n equals 525 plus n minus 1 times my common difference of 55. Distribute the 55, so 525 plus 55n minus 55, and then combine my like terms. Put my 55 in first, and 525 minus 55 is positive 470. Do my math right. Alright, now I'm going to find how much is in there after 10 months. So I'm going to do that by plugging in 10 for n. I want the 10th term. So I'm looking for a sub 10. So I'm going to have 55 times 10 plus 470. Well, 55 times 10 is 550. I've got to add 470. So let's see, 500 and 400 is 900, and 50 and 70 is 120. So we got 1,020 is in her account after 10 months. Now to review graphing inequalities. So we're going to look at all three forms. To start, we'll look at point slope. So I'm just going to graph it like I normally would when it's in point slope. So point slope, we call it that because it gives me a point and the slope. So my slope is at 2, and my point is at negative 2, positive 3. Right? X is in with the x, y is over here with the y, and they're opposite signs. So I'm going to go to negative 2, positive 3, and put a point. Then I'm going to use my slope of 2. So I'm going to go up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. And we'll do that a couple times in both directions. Alright, I'm going to use a solid line because it is or equal to. Pretty cricky line. And to pick where to shade, I'm going to plug in 0, 0 and see if it's true or false. So I have 0 minus 3 less than or equal to 2 times 0 plus 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So is negative 3 less than or equal to 4? Yes, it is, so it's true. So my point 0, 0 is down here. It's part of my solution because it's true, so I'm going to shade on the same side as 0, 0. 4x plus 6y is greater than 8. So this one is in standard form, so I'm going to graph it by finding my x and my y intercepts. So to find my y-intercept, I'm going to cover up my x. So 6y is greater than 8. So then my y-intercept becomes 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3. Alright, now remember that is 1 1/3 when it comes to estimating where your points go. To find the x-intercept, cover up my y, so I get 4x equals 8, so my x-intercept is at 2. So I'm going to go to 2 on my x-axis, and we'll go to 1 1/3 right about there on my y-axis. And oops, this one's a dotted line because it is just greater than. And to decide where to shade, I'm going to plug in 0, 0. So I've got 4 times 0 plus 6 times 0 greater than 8. 4 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. So then I end up with 0 is greater than, 8. 0 is not greater than 8, so this is a false statement, which means 0, 0 is right here on my graph. It's not part of the solution, so I'm going to shade on the other side. And finally, y is greater than negative 3x plus 8. This one is in slope-intercept form. It gives me the slope and my y-intercept. My slope is at negative 3 and my y-intercept is 8. So I'm going to go up to 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put a point. And I'm going to go down 3, right 1. 1, 2, 3, right 1. I'll do it a couple times. And then 1, 2, 3, right 1. This one's going to be a dotted line as well because it's just greater than. And then now when deciding where to shade, I can just use my inequality. I want all the y's that are bigger than this line. Well, the bigger y's are going to be above the line. You can also still plug in your point 0, 0. So I have 0 is greater than negative 3 times 0 plus 8. Negative 3 times 0 is 0 plus 8. And so I have the same option as last time. 0 bigger than 8, which is not true. 0, 0 is down here. It's not a solution, so I'm going to shade on the other side.